Hey, my Legion, how y'all doing today? I'm here with a double threat movie review of some forgotten, made for shot on video or made for video movies for Wizard Home Video, and that was like a predominant, well, kind of a predominant for like somewhat for in the 80s. And like John was saying, some of the artwork for some of the movies go for a lot of money, like through Italy. And Charles Band owned that along with owning Media Home Entertainment, which I didn't find out till much later. And then he went on to do all the Full Moon stuff, and he was doing stuff with Empire in Italy before the Full Moon stuff, and now he's cranking out really subpar movies on Full Moon for the most part. Well, anyways, there's two movies. One I never saw before, and one I wanted to give a second chance to. And the one I wanted to give a second chance to is the one I'm going to be reviewing first. Because there's a handful of movies I saw when I was in the Army that I was curious about giving it a second chance and seeing why I didn't like it in the first place. And there was two movies I did a while back that I saw both in Fort Detrick, Maryland, that I hated when I first saw them. When I rented them on videotape. You know, when I was in the Army from 87 to 91. November 87 to November 91. And, still the videotape thing was still popular and stuff. And, Laserdisc was out, but I was just a VCR, VHS guy, you know. And the two movies that I saw, I gave a second chance to, that I hated originally, that I loved this time was, a while back in 2013, The Hearse. Which I remember seeing. I remember it came out in it was through Crown International in either 78 or 79. I remember it played in the theaters. I said, Mom, Dad, can I see it? It's rated PG. It's rated PG. And of course, I wasn't able to see it. I mean, but it only played for, a week or two and it was gone. It was just a drive-in movie, I guess. And I remember renting it much later in 91 in Fort Detrick. Oh, thank you, Amber. And remember renting it at Fort Detrick in 91, and I thought it was absolutely awful, boring as hell. I watched it again, and I really enjoyed it back in 2013. A weird thing, when I was in Fort Detrick, there was a couple of times where I didn't feel that great and watch a movie, so I didn't like too many of them. A couple I want to give second chances to. That was one, like I said, like the very first Gorgon video, which I liked. I wanted to see that again. I wanted to see Cameron's Closet again, which I saw with my dad on Netflix. Not Netflix, FearNet. And then in either 2013 2014 on Viewtopia, they brought back Mutant Hunt. Now, Mutant Hunt was one of the shot-on video movies that Wizard released. And the only reason I know about some of these ones that are shot on video is because they advertised it so much. I knew there was 4 movies, and then they had the 5th one in '86. And the one that was called Mutant Hunt, which I finally didn't get a chance to see till '91, I absolutely hated it. I watched it with my dad, and I would laugh my ass off. I had a good time. It was so bad it was good. But the first time I really hated it. But this time I liked it. My dad was like, "Oh, geez, it's so stupid." When he was still alive. So, the movie I want to give a second chance to this time was Robot Holocaust. And what happened, like I said, Wizard made, I was a big fan of the shot-on-video movies, some of them. Because I remember seeing Boarding House, which actually was released theatrically, because I remember on sneak previews, after Siskel and Ebert left, there was Michael Medved and Jeffrey Lyons hosting it. And they still had the Dogs of the Week. And one of them was Boarding House. They said it was released theatrically, believe it or not. And the tagline is "Where the rent won't kill you, but something else will." I love that movie. That's a really cheesy movie. I loved it, though. That movie's a lot of fun. So I was kind of wanting to check some of these other ones out. And there's a couple of companies that are putting a lot out, like United Video. I remember they put out Revenge. And then The Ripper with Tom Savini was in The Ripper, playing Jack the Ripper. Those both shot on video. And then they had, in Germany, I remember seeing Forever Evil. And then when I got out of the Army in Giant Eagle, not Giant Eagle, Golden Dawn, when Golden Dawn was still open, they used to rent videos. They had Blood Cult there, and I saw that, and then, yeah, I wasn't too crazy about that one. That was, I don't have interest in giving that a second chance or not. Now, with Wizard Home Video, they advertise their movies so much. You said these are movies specially made for the home video market. Made for just videotape. And it was Breeders. It was Breeders, Dream Maniac, Mutant Hunt, and Robot Holocaust. And then, like, let me see something. Amber says something. And then, like, a year later was Cycles in Love. Now, the ones I saw at the time, I remember renting Breeders when it first came out, and I was a big fan of that movie. And I love the movie. It's really awfully bad. Even Fangoria gave it a good rating, saying it's so bad it's good, but it was a lot of fun. And I actually bought that on DVD for $5. Much later, and I sent it to my friend Steph from They Said Rock Roll, otherwise known as Leather and Jade now, and she gave a scathing review, and she said she was laughing when she reviewed it. I asked her if she would. It was only a 73-minute movie. Ed French did the makeup on that one, too. I said Mutant Hunt I didn't see until Fort Detrick. Dream Maniac was the one I never saw, but I'll be reviewing that later. Cycles in Love, when I saw Cycles in Love when it first came out, I love Cycles in Love. And the one that I wanted to give a second chance to was Robot Holocaust. I saw it in Germany. I rented it in Germany. I made a copy of it, and I didn't even get through it. I fast forwarded, and I ended up taping over. I hated it. And my curiosity started getting the best of me. It's been for a while. I thought, well, maybe I'll give it a second chance. Just a name, anything with Robot in the title, I really wanted to see. Like Robot versus the Aztec Mummy, which is pretty bad, and War of the Robots, which I bought off Star Home Video. Was it Star? I can't remember. Star Video or something like that. And had a really cheap opening thing. It was like an Italian version of Star Wars. That was really bad too. So I wanted to give Robot Holocaust a second chance. I found it on YouTube. I mean, if I can find these movies free on YouTube, I'm definitely interested. And aside from Robot Holocaust, there's two other movies that I'm interested in checking out that I hated when I first saw them. The one in Germany was Necropolis. I want to check that out again, in the 80s. And then the other one was in Fort Detrick. There was a low-budget movie with Mac Davis called Cheaper to Keeper. Maybe I might check that one out too. Though I assume both those will be on YouTube. Maybe especially Cheaper to Keeper, I assume. And that was on the Dogs of the Week too, with Cisco and Ebert hated that one. Oh well. But Robot Holocaust, I decided to give it a second chance, and it still sucks. It still sucks bad. I looked on, I remember it was released on Wizard Video, but they said it was released theatrically. Some of these movies they actually shot in Italy, where Charles Band was doing the Empire films. This looks not like any of the Empire movies. Those movies like The Eliminators and Ghoulies and stuff. Well made, good movies, especially The Eliminators. I like The Eliminators. No one remembers that movie, but I do. And what happens is this one features, it's very drab looking. But he said it was released theatrically in Italy. And basically, the guy does a narration. He says that robots has taken over the world in the year 32. I assume 3200, I guess. He just said the year 32. The guy doing a narration, and he's very sullen. He said, who will survive the robot holocaust? Like that. I mean, everyone talks like real serious. And basically, robots have taken over, and humans are slaves. They're called air slaves. And they help feed the power station. And if they don't feed the power station, they'll cut off the Dark One, or a Dark Lord will cut off the power to that, and they'll make the atmosphere unable to breathe for the people, at least inside the power station. And the robots are just like costumes that people put on, and you hear them talk like, someone doing a voiceover. Even though the robot costumes might be the highlight of the movie. And And it starts out with these two guys fighting, and the fight scenes are horrible. The fight scenes are actually almost entertaining. There was a scene where they were fighting these mutants, and mutants had like these sticks they were swirling like that. That was like a battle royale towards the last half of the movie. I would laugh my ass off. That was funny. And they were cutting off sets going bloop, bloop, bloop. I mean, it's not graphic, but it just looks silly the way they did it. Really cheap looking. That was kind of funny. And there was this girl that did a British accent. She was the most spirited actress. She was awful, though. Her acting was horrible, but all the acting was really bad. Well, at least she tried. And basically the movie revolves around this father and daughter refused to take orders from the robots anymore instead. And oh no, what happened was they got mad and they turned off the air, and they started, and right away they go, oh, because it takes a while for the atmosphere to, it's scientific. It's not like right away. And everyone started choking except for the father, who's assigned to the daughter. And he said, "I want to know how you were able to breathe the air." Well, they didn't even talk that spirit. They talked how you were able to breathe the air whenever we shut the thing off. It wasn't like real boring time, And he wanted to answer, and the scientists took the robots took the scientists to the power station, and basically the whole thing was this one guy who talked telepathically to the robot and then talked just regular to everyone else throughout the rest of the movie. He didn't do that anymore, which is really stupid. They decided to go on a trek to find a power station. And, I mean, this movie came out in 85, 86, and there was a band called The Power Station out with Robert Plant and some of the guys from Duran Duran. So that's all I thought about was the band Power Plant. And basically it's their trek to go there. They find some warrior women that act real boring. A guy who's a mute. They have like these sewer worms that are like sock puppets. I'm making this movie sound much more interesting than it is. It's boring as hell. It's only 79 minutes and it's tough to get through. But I decided to watch the whole thing because I didn't give it much of a chance in Germany. But like I said, that one fight scene was really funny, and there were a couple other little funny parts. When we reach up to the Dark Lord, all the stuff in the power station, all the stuff indoors, it must have borrowed a foundry from someone or a power plant or something. And it's very drab. It's very, like, dull lit. And not interesting at all. Everyone's, like, super serious and super quiet when they talk. And it's just so boring. I really hate it. I mean, except for a couple parts where I laughed at. Those are the only parts, that might have been a little bit interesting. IMDb was very generous. They gave it a 2.1. I'm not going to give that. I'm going to give it a 1. I was going to think about giving it a 1.5, but no, I'm just giving it a 1. Because I laughed at a few scenes. That was it. It's lousy. Definitely avoid that. But, I mean, the title sounds really interesting. And, like, the guy was doing narration. They must have done a reshoot where the guy did narration, filling a couple of gaps in case people wonder what was happening. It was terribly boring. I don't think people cared what was happening. But it's a terrible movie. People are leaving good comments on the thing saying they don't make movies like this anymore. I usually like movies that are so bad they're good, but this is just so bad it's boring. It's so boring. So that's a 1 out of 10 for that. Now, the next movie is called Dream Maniac. Now, Dream Maniac was one of the 4 movies like I told you about. And I could never find it anywhere. And then I found it in Fort Bragg in Try It First Video. I had a million chances to rent it. I never rented it because I hated the cover art. You'll see it on the thumbnail right next to Robot. You'll see the cover. It looks awful. But I wanted to see it. It looked like it was a bloodier movie than the other ones. And like I said, I love Breeders, and I loved the best one. Well, I'll tell you what the best of the 5 shot on video Wizard videos were. It was made by Dave DeCatau, who went on to do Creepazoids, or as Fangoria would call it, Crapazoids. But I love Creepazoids. And then do Slime Babes and the Sorority Bolorama. Hold up. Hello? Hey, what's up, buddy? How you doing? Okay. Yeah, if you want to, yeah, that'd be cool. Okay. All right, that sounds good. Okay. Awesome. Oh, awesome. Yeah, I was lucky. My one friend from across the street shoveled my thing while I was sleeping. I didn't even know. That was cool of him. You know. Okay. All right, I'll see you later then, buddy. Okay. Okay. All right. Bye. Yeah, that was my buddy John. Um, Now I forgot what I was going to say. No, it was created by Dave Dave or something like that. That's the name, I think. And like you said, it was at Fort Bragg. And that was one of the ones I had a million times chance to rent. I never did. And I was kind of curious about, but I kept seeing that awful cover work that looked horrible. So I held off on it. And then my curiosity eventually got the best of me. I found it on YouTube. So I definitely want to see it. Oh, I also want to see the movie Silent Scream, not the old Hammer House of Horror one with Peter Cushing, but the one with Cameron Mitchell in it. That's one I want to see. That's another one I want to see, which I liked when I first saw it. I'm also curious in seeing that one again if I can find it. Well, anyways, Dream Maniac revolves around a guy that he says he's a heavy metal musician, but I mean they barely mention it at the beginning, and then they said like he just writes lyrics and stuff like that. It didn't really affect the movie at all. And then someone's saying like he summoned the devil and stuff like that. I guess there was a comment saying if he was in the metal summoning the devil, he should have had like a Def Leppard shirt on, like a poison sticker, poison poster in the room. He should have like a Venom or Hellhammer or Celtic Frost sticker, but that doesn't really matter. It doesn't affect the movie because they don't really talk about heavy metal that much. I hope they don't lump it into the heavy metal themed horror films like Trick or Treat or Rocktober Blood or Black Roses or Rock and Roll Nightmare or anything like that, because it's not really not. It's really just they mentioned it in there. I don't know why. Maybe to get more viewers or something. But it was something. It was kind of outrageous in its own way. And basically, what starts out as this guy's in his house, and they have like a very slow opening credit scene that looks very padded, very similar to like full moon movies, where it seems like it takes like 10 minutes to show the opening credits. I guess a black screen, that's very boring. They show the house. They have an interesting song. They show the house, and then they start using the theme for Breeders again. Well, I mean, if you've seen Breeders, you definitely recognize the theme, which is okay because they own Breeders, so you might as well. And he used it a couple times throughout the movie. And there's one guy that keeps seeing this girl in his dreams. And they have, like, fooling around and then it ends up bloody. And then he wakes up from the nightmare. And then he does an incantation to resurrect this person. He has another dream like that. And then you see his girlfriend and he said, boy, it's really nice you helping my sister out with her sorority. And they're going to have a big party on the weekend in the house. And the one thing is shot on video, but it's very blurry. It's very like washed out looking, which also hurts the movie. And it was like that when it first came out. And I remember it was weird because the print I saw on YouTube was someone's getting off his VCR and it had like a foreign subtitles and it's like every time there's tracking problem, it's an NTSC Autographica or something like that on there. And they have the guests come over, and they're all obnoxious. They're not very interesting. And then you see that girl from his dreams come over, and then she starts killing everybody. And I don't want to give away much more. That's pretty much what happens. And then something happens towards the last half hour. That was a twist. What a twist! That makes it a little more interesting. It's still much better than Robot Holocaust, but I mean, at least there's decent bloodshed in it. Especially this drill bit scene towards the end. I mean, I like that. like I said, it got interesting towards the last half hour, but then the way it told the movie, it wasn't real choppy. You know, a movie's supposed to flow seamlessly, you know, and tell the story real well through bad editing, and well, bad acting too. None of the characters were very interesting. And a couple other things happened that kind of didn't make sense. But I mean, overall, because of that, I'd probably give that I'd probably give it a 5.5 out of 10. Still much better than Robo Holocaust, but not the greatest. So that's my review of Dream Maniac. And I had trouble finding Dream Maniac. Dream Maniac is spelled as one word. And one other thing about Made on Shot on Video movies, they had Wizard Video also had 2 videos movies that promoted their own videos, or their own titles with trailers and stuff and scenes from the movie. Just like Continental did Terror on Tape, which is a very entertaining shot on video movie, which features trailers and scenes from their movies that they have, the horror films, sci-fi films they have on their catalog, which is very entertaining. I really like that. And that's a 10 out of 10 right there. And Wizard did a couple videos. They did the best of sex and violence. You can definitely tell Richard Band was in that. Very cheap looking. But John Carradine was on there hosting, and they showed just trailers from their movies that they had. Mostly sex movies. And more, as opposed to violence, more sex and violence ones. And then you see like Keith Carradine and some of his sons come on. It was very entertaining. I really liked the best of sex and violence real well. Even Fangoria said it's more about they show more of the sex things than the violence things. And that's where they found out about Truck Stop Women, which I finally reviewed. And then they had one called Zombie-thon. And they had the greatest zombie movie selection there, except for the Lucio Fulci zombie. They had that one. It was like a shot on video thing. And I liked the way they made the zombies look. They made it really different. It was like no narration. It was just like all silent. Well, with music and stuff, with the zombies and humans interacting with zombies in the theater. And then clips from the movies, the zombie movies. And that was, I read the best sex and violence from Fort Bragg. And that was buried in things from Tried's first video. And then with the other one, Zombie-thon, I remember, because I always went to the mom and pop stores. They had a Blockbuster there, and I didn't bother to go to the Blockbuster because you had to pay a membership fee. And a lot of times now they waive the membership fees, even though I had to pay a membership fee in all the video places in Germany. But I mean, when I got back from Germany, in Fort Bragg and Fort D, all free memberships. I had to pay like $5 for the one. I didn't think the movies looked that great. I only went there once or twice to that Blockbuster. And that was my first introduction with Blockbuster. I didn't go to Blockbuster that much. Because they had Zombie-thon, I wanted to see it, and I saw a movie called A Panic, which was also equally bad. But Zombie-thon was, I mean, most of their zombie movies are kind of pathetic. They had, the only ones of note were Zombie, and then they had Jess Franco's Oasis Zombie, which was kind of boring, but interesting, and then they had Zombie Lake, which was kind of boring, but interesting. So I hope you like this video of 2 obscure, forgotten, made for shot on video movies. So, I mean, I'm still looking to see Silent Scream, which I loved when I first saw it. I remember renting it when I got out of Germany, I think, in Albion. They had that. That's a hard-to-find movie. That was on me. I saw the trailer or the TV spot for on YouTube. I have not found the print of the movie on there. And there's so many Silent Screams in there. I don't know. That'll be hard to find that one. It came out in 1980, I believe. And that was another one, Siskel and Ebert's Dogs of the Week. That's how I found out about it. And maybe they reviewed it. I can't remember. I don't remember. And like I said, Cheaper to Keep her in Necropolis. And if the Necropolis is bad, I'm going to call it Necropolis. So I hope you like this video, everybody. Until next time, please, take care of my legion. Okay. And a very special thank you to Tony Town for making me a thumbnail for the 2 movies.